You know, one of those people in life who are always motivated to do the things he or she loves? Yep. Well, our next performer is one of them. She's in grade 12, yet has very strong emotions between the electric spark between her lovers and friends. She's here to talk to us today about the scientific perspective of the spark. Can you please give the stage to a young lady coming from grade 12, Arpine Jaghlasian.
Chemistry. The romantic spark between a man and a woman. But what is chemistry? Is chemistry organic? Something two people either have or they don't? Or is chemistry something that is developed in a relationship as you learn to grow and love somebody? This chemistry, or the spark as we call it, is a current of electricity that runs through two people that can either make or break a relationship. Chemistry can take many forms, but in all its forms, it always succeeds in connecting people. It can connect people emotionally, intellectually, and even romantically, and at its very best, in all three ways. This chemistry is part of how we select a mate, and it's a beautiful, natural feeling that provides us with great joy. This speech, I will talk about how the spark between two people is a beautiful thing, but it does not necessarily have to lead to romance. Now, for all the rational thinkers out there, vague and elusive terms like chemistry or the spark don't really mean much. So, I'm going to try and break it down from a more scientific point of view. When two people are in love, there are chemicals in the body flying right and left, so it's hard to pinpoint all of them, but we can only try. So it all starts with PEA, which is an amine that is naturally found in the brain that is also there in some foods, such as chocolate, which is why women crave it so much. This PEA triggers the release of dopamine, which is sometimes called the pleasure chemical, and it is responsible for the feelings of bliss and the elated head over heels part of falling in love. This dopamine, in turn, triggers the release of oxytocin, which is nicknamed the cuddle hormone. In both genders, this hormone is released during, you guessed it, cuddling or touching. This process tends to calm anxiety, reduce stress, and even relieve pain. Now that we've acknowledged that this spark is a massive force and it is present in friends and in romantic lovers, we must cherish this kind of spark because it's not only there in lovers, but it's also there between friends. So, for example, have you ever met somebody for the first time and right from the beginning you sort of clicked with them? Like there was this natural instant spark between you two and a natural charisma in your conversation? Well, there are many factors to this. For example, having the same similarities, even if it's something as simple as sharing the same name or liking the same band, is usually enough to establish a real connection with somebody. Even being in a safe and inviting place can be enough. So, for example, college is a good example of this, as everyone in college is already in a mindset to be making new friends. There's also something called joint adversity, which is when two people go through something together. So this could be something as intense as surviving an emergency plane landing together, or something infinitely more unlikely, like surviving PE class with your dignity intact. Now, this spark, now that we've established that friendship is now part of what we mean by love, and it's common for men and women to be friends. Why is it that it's rarely ever seen in popular culture? Well, partly, it's a narrative problem. Friendship isn't courtship. Friendship doesn't have a beginning, a middle, a climax, and an end. Stories about friendship are relatively rare, pretty boring, and to be frank, they don't sell. But this isn't just a narrative problem or a Hollywood problem. We have problem in our culture understanding any love that isn't based on romance or blood. We understand family, we understand marriage, but that's all we seem to understand. We don't understand the asymmetric love between a master and apprentice, a professor and a student, guide and the guided. We don't seem to understand comradeship or the bond that comes from shared and intense work. And we don't understand friendship, at least not of the intimate kind. And when we seem to imagine these relationships, we seem to have to sexualize them. Now, to conclude my speech, I would just like to say that this spark that is found between an old married couple that is strolling through the park holding hands after being together for 40 years, or between two students that are just helping each other with homework, this spark is a spark that we have to cherish, as it's the only one that truly matters. Thank you.